Before we get to the outlook, let's review what went wrong for gold this year in 2014.
A lot of things went wrong for gold. Number one, of course, the very strong dollar.
Yes.
Strong dollar means it was pricing gold out of the average investor's pocket. There was no inflation seen because of the slide in crude oil prices that were down 40% this year. And now I saw even below $2 trade in gasoline on the NYMEX.
Right.
So all of that, no inflation, very strong stocks, very good bond or debt market that took away from gold, and the funds have been fleeing, and really fleeing because we've lost 100,000 in open interest in gold just since the last week of November 24th. We were 475,000. Tonight we're at 373,000 contracts.
Yeah, John Paulson's not doing so well with his gold-denominated fund. Now, I think it's interesting you point out that risky assets did well, defensive assets also did well, such as treasuries. So your asset of last resort, which is how a lot of people view gold, there wasn't a whole lot of demand for it.
There wasn't demand because there was no inflation. Inflation is the biggest reason to own gold, and we don't see it now, but we may start to see it next year.
Why is
and the
that?
Fed may see the strong dollar hurting exports, and then they'll think twice. And then, of course, as they start to raise, they may raise less and slower than people expect, which means you could have low interest rates for the foreseeable future, even though they changed the language recently.
Okay, so there's a Fed angle and how it plays vis-a-vis that. What about some other factors like India taxing gold purchases?
India, just before the Modi administration came in, had raised the import tax on gold tremendously. Some shops were on strike not selling gold, selling silver, of course, but not selling gold. And then Modi administration started to lower it somewhat, but still not enough. And then China had a slowdown that was not expected.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned silver as well, the poor man's version of gold. But it is an industrial metal. So
it's an industrial
does silver have
as
a better
well
outlook?
as investment. Industrially, yes, because if we do have a recovery in Europe with all the stimulus, and we do have a recovery in China, and we do need the industrial metals, then, of course, silver will be able to move up along with gold if gold moves up as well. And a lot of that will depend on crude oil.
Of course. Okay, so final question to you, George. What is your forecast for gold in 2015?
Well, I don't have a price forecast, but I think better than what we're seeing now. I think maybe in the $1,300 area for next year.